did you find yourself working in the world of comics? I'll start there.
Okay. My origin story in comics should never be repeated. I so wanted to be in comics, and I did a comic strip for my school newspaper that was very much like a superhero strip, and I was going around comic conventions showing my art, and people were like, the stories are good. Like, you can't draw. No, but they're like, have you thought about just being a writer? And I was asking, like, how do you do that? And someone, I think it was Jim Valentino, told me that Marvel had a college internship program. And it would be a good way to, like, you know, network and get to meet people. So I signed up for the Marvel internship program. I went there and they asked me what college I was going to. And I told them that I had just graduated from Occidental. And they said, well, if you graduated, we can't use you. We don't pay you. We pay you with college credit. Thank you. Goodbye. And it was like 5 minutes. I was in Marvel for 5 minutes. And then I went back home to California. My sister was getting married. I came back to New York 6 months later, and I figured they wouldn't remember me from 5 minutes. So I got a college professor to write a slip for postgraduate credit, and I lied. I said I was still in college, and they brought me in, and I was the college intern that they didn't know had already graduated.
Wow.
So I didn't have to go back to college. So I just kind of stayed as their college intern. And eventually, at one point, a Marvel staffer, like, well, the editor, they offered me a job. And they said, well, we want to offer you this job, but you've graduated. And I came back the next day with my college diploma. I was like, no, I've been lying to you. I'm a college graduate.
And the rest was history.
Yeah. And then once I was a Marvel staffer, it was easier to pitch work and to network. And eventually I got a book, and then I quit my staff job. But that's how I broke in. And now anyone applying for Marvel College internships has to fill out huge stacks of forms that they are not doing what I did. Every assistant editor I've met or intern, I'm like, did they make you fill out all those forms? And they're like, yeah, that was me. I ruined it for everyone. Me.
Secrets revealed.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit further then. What comic do you remember the earliest reading, or what run stands out to you the most from your childhood?
When I was a little kid, the Spider-Man 67 cartoon was on after school. And I watched that all the time, and I loved Spider-Man, but it never dawned on me to, like, go buy a comic. And when I was visiting my cousin, he collected comics. And this is before they had long boxes. You just put comics in a box. There were no specialty stores, no nothing. And he said, I think you like superhero books. And he lent me his 3 issues of the Galactus trilogy in comic book format. Like, not a reprint or anything. My first superhero comics I ever read introduced the world to Galactus and Silver Surfer, and those were my first comics.
Well, you just introduced the world to a new character. We got a new Spider-Boy. We got Bailey, and you teased for a while that the Spider-Man 7 was going to be a big issue. I have my copy with me, but very, very excited to see how his story has unfolded. What can you talk about his development? I'd love to hear the behind the scenes of how did this character come to life.
It came out of complete left field. We did a storyline called End of the Spider-Verse, and during that story, both Jessica Drew Spider-Woman and Peter Parker Spider-Man got erased from the web of life and destiny. And we weren't going to leave it like that. So at the end of the story, I think every comic book reader knew we were bringing them back. So you brought back Jess, and then you brought back Peter. And then that felt a weird beat just to do 2 things. It felt like there should be a third. So I pitched to the editor, what if a third guy comes back and no one knows who it is? This guy goes, hey, it's me, I'm this spider guy. I'm friends with you all, like, it's me. And I pitched him the idea of it just being, we had a number of things it could have been. And I said, I wanted to be Spider-Boy. Like this little kid who's never going to be a Spider-Man, the little Spider-Boy who's kind of like his kid's sidekick. The one superhero who should never have a sidekick, let's give him a sidekick. Nick, my editor, didn't want to do it, but he gave in. And then I did 3 tweets. It was 3 tweets. Everyone's making it out like it was this big, huge thing to tease everyone. 3 tweets. And everyone lost their damn minds and bought lots of Spider-Man 7. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I was one of them, but no, I was very excited about everything that was leading up to it, and I followed your guidance when you said there's something exciting coming up, and I very much enjoyed when you have done those teasers, because it's a nice opportunity to get involved and have the community engagement.
I have not done them often. I did them right before Superior. I told people, like, you're going to want to pick up 697. Trust me. I did it when we saw the initial orders for Clone Conspiracy, and normally we would have the lead book be where the event happens, and we do a side stuff, and we flipped it. So we put out a book called Clone Conspiracy, and that was the lead, and we hadn't explained that well enough in the marketing. So everyone was ordering more of Amazing, which was the tie-ins, than they were of Clone Conspiracy. So I went online and went, retailers, you're ordering it wrong. I'm looking at how the orders are coming in. Trust me, you're going to want more of Clone Conspiracy, less of Amazing. So I had a pretty good record of, I didn't plug everything. I only showed up infrequently and when retailers needed to hear it. And I knew we were introducing a new character with an Umberto Ramos design. We've kept it a spoiler cover where we're not showing anyone. And I knew once Spider-Boy was happening, I was going to do everything in my power, just like, I'm going to write this character forever. As long as I possibly can, I'm going to throw everything in the kitchen sink in this. I really want to be able to, like, give them a good launch. And everyone, thank you. Thank you for checking out Spider-Man 7, for checking out Spider-Boy 1. Something I'm excited about is we do 2 free comic book day issues a year, one in May usually, and then one in Halloween. And this year for Halloween, if you haven't tried Spider-Boy yet, they're making all of Spider-Boy 1 available as a free book.
That's great.
So hopefully we'll get more people to jump on board, because it's the most fun I've had on a book in forever. It's very much, if you're someone who liked my work, like on She-Hulk, on Silver Surfer, it's far less Spider-Man-y, it's far more just big, silly, fun adventure in the Spider-Man corner of the Marvel Universe.
Well, my last question for you, I know you're a big Whovian. You got to write a wonderful Doctor Who story, which is just like right here, Once Upon a Time Lord. I absolutely loved this story. It was so much fun. I could tell the passion that you have for the character. Could you talk about getting to write Doctor Who?
Everyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Whovian. I've been watching the show since I was a little boy with like Tom Baker and Peter Davison. I grew up in England, and I was like watching it on air when it was coming out. I was like, and the idea that it came back 2005, even bigger, was like, it's my favorite TV show of all time. And whenever I'd go back home to England and visit people, like friends and family, Titan would always invite me out to dinner, and they'd go, would you like to write some Doctor Who comics? And I'd be like, I can't, I'm exclusive to Marvel. And whenever my contract would come up for renegotiation, I would ask if we could have a carve out so I could write one Doctor Who comic. And eventually Marvel gave in and let me do it. So now that's the plans. We do one a year. There's a reason why it might not come out this year that's a secret, and hopefully we'll be able to tell you more later. But I'm having a blast. It's like my favorite TV show ever, and I get to play in that world and take all the Doctor Who ideas I've had since I was a kid and just like shove them into a book.
I'm so excited that you get to tell more stories. Really, this was one of my favorite one-shots from this last year, and it's a really great story.
Oh, thank you very much.